You won't believe what their mom just revealed to the family." Everyone froze instantly. What she said changed everything they thought they knew about their lives. The room went completely silent. Nobody could move or speak. This wasn't just any secret. This was something she had been hiding for over 30 years. Her truth so shocking that it made everyone question their entire past. The mother, who had always been the rock of the family, just dropped a bomb that shattered everything. Her hands were shaking as she spoke the words. Her voice was breaking with every sentence. What she revealed will make you think about your own family differently. The truth she finally shared was something nobody saw coming. It was a normal Sunday evening. The whole family had gathered at the parents' house for dinner, like they did every month. Everyone was sitting around the dining table. The smell of roasted chicken filled the air. Children were laughing and talking about their week. Everything seemed perfectly normal, but the mother was unusually quiet that night. She barely touched her food. Her eyes kept looking around the table at each family member, as if she was memorizing their faces. Her husband noticed something was wrong. He asked her twice if she was feeling okay. She just nodded and gave a weak smile. After dinner, as everyone was getting ready to leave, she stood up suddenly. Her chair made a loud scraping sound against the floor. She asked everyone to sit back down. There was something in her voice that made everyone stop. Something serious, something final. The room fell silent as they all took their seats again. This mother had always been the strongest person in the family. She was the one who held everyone together through every crisis. When the father lost his job 10 years ago, she worked 3 jobs to keep the family afloat. When her own mother died, she planned the entire funeral without shedding a single tear in front of anyone. She was known for being private. She never complained. She never shared her personal struggles with anyone, not even with her closest friends. Her children always saw her as unbreakable, someone who had no secrets, someone who was always honest and straightforward. But lately things had been different. Her daughter noticed she wasn't sleeping well. There were dark circles under her eyes. She seemed distracted all the time. Her son mentioned that she had been acting strange for the past few months, looking at old photo albums late at night, making phone calls and hanging up quickly when someone entered the room. Something heavy was weighing on her soul, something she could no longer carry alone, like this video right now, to find out what she revealed to them. The mother stood at the head of the table. Her hands were gripping the back of her chair so hard, her knuckles turned white. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out at first. She closed her eyes and took 3 deep breaths. Her husband reached out to touch her hand, but she pulled away gently. She needed to do this alone. The family members looked at each other with worried faces. The oldest son thought maybe she was going to tell them she had cancer. The daughter feared her parents were getting divorced. The younger children just sat there confused. They had never seen their mother like this before. She finally found her voice. It was softer than usual, almost a whisper at first. Time seemed to slow down in that moment. The clock on the wall stopped ticking. The sound of traffic outside disappeared completely. Every eye in the room was fixed on her. Hearts were beating faster. Breaths were held. She looked at each of her children one by one, then at her husband, then down at her trembling hands. What came out of her mouth next would change their lives forever. Nothing would ever be the same again after this moment. Comment below what you think the secret is before we reveal it to you. The first words that came out of her mouth were simple but devastating. "I am not who you think I am." The oldest son's glass of water slipped from his hand and crashed on the floor. Nobody moved to clean it up. The father's face went pale. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. She continued speaking, her voice growing stronger now. "The name you know me by is not my real name. The life I've told you about is not entirely true." The daughter started crying immediately. "What do you mean, Mom? What are you saying?" The younger children looked around confused. They didn't fully understand what was happening, but they could feel the tension in the air. The mother pulled out an old envelope from her pocket. Inside were photographs nobody had ever seen before. Pictures of her as a young woman with different people, a different family. "Before I met your father, I had a completely different life," she said. "I changed my identity 30 years ago. I ran away from something terrible." The room erupted. Questions were being shouted from every direction. What did you run from? Who are those people in the pictures? Is our father even our real father? What else have you lied about? The chaos was overwhelming. The mother tried to speak, but her voice was drowned out by the noise. Years of hidden truth were finally spilling out, and there was no way to stop it now. The oldest son stood up so fast his chair fell backward. He walked straight out of the room without saying a word. They could hear the front door slam shut moments later. The daughter couldn't stop crying. Her whole body was shaking. "How could you lie to us for our entire lives?" She screamed through her tears. The younger children were asking questions nobody could answer. "Where did you come from? Are we in danger? Do we have another family somewhere?" The father just sat there in complete silence. His face was frozen in shock. He looked like someone had punched him in the stomach. The grandmother, who was also present, put her hand over her mouth. Her eyes were wide with disbelief. Some family members were angry, feeling betrayed by the woman they trusted most in the world. Others felt confused. Nothing made sense anymore. Every memory was now questionable. Every story was now suspicious. A few tried to comfort the mother. They could see she was suffering too. That keeping this secret had destroyed her from the inside. The room was complete chaos. Everyone talking at once. Some yelling, some crying, some just staring in shock. Subscribe now to find out what happens next in this shocking family story. When the noise finally died down, the mother continued her story. Her voice was steadier now, like a weight was being lifted from her shoulders. "I grew up in a different state under a different name," she explained. "My family was involved in something dangerous, something illegal that I wanted no part of. She had witnessed things as a teenager that no child should see. Her father was connected to people who hurt others. Her mother knew but stayed silent out of fear. When she turned 18, she made a plan to escape. She saved money secretly for 2 years. She contacted organizations that help people disappear and start new lives. One night she left with nothing but a small bag and fake documents. She moved across the country, changed her name legally, created a new identity from scratch. That's where she met their father 5 years later. She had already built a new life by then. She never told him the truth about her past, because she was terrified he would leave her. "I kept this secret to protect you all," she said with tears streaming down her face. "The people I ran from are still out there, still dangerous. I thought if you never knew you would be safe." She paused and looked at each of them. "But recently someone found me. They know where I am. That's why I have to tell you now. If you want to support this channel and help us share more real family stories like this one, you can give super thanks of $5, $10, $20 or more. Your support helps us continue bringing you these powerful true stories. Thank you for being part of our community. Comment below if you've ever discovered a family secret, or if someone in your family has hidden their past." The mother explained that fear had controlled her entire life. Fear of judgment, fear of losing her family, fear of putting them in danger. She worried that if her children knew the truth, they would see her differently, that they would be ashamed of where she came from. She was concerned about the family's reputation in their community. They were respected, known as good people. She didn't want her past to destroy that. The trauma of her childhood made it almost impossible to talk about. Every time she thought about telling someone, the memories would come flooding back. The fear would paralyze her. She had made promises to the people who helped her escape. They told her the safest thing was to never speak of her old life again, to forget it completely. There were legal reasons too. Her fake documents could have gotten her in serious trouble if discovered. She could have been arrested. deported back to the place she ran from. She was protecting her younger siblings who were still there. If anyone knew she had talked, they might get hurt. She truly believed that silence was the only way to keep everyone safe, that the truth would do more harm than good. But carrying this burden alone for 30 years had broken something inside her. She couldn't do it anymore. The father finally spoke after sitting in silence for what felt like hours. His voice was barely above a whisper. "Did you ever love me? Or was I just part of your escape plan?" The mother reached for his hand, but he pulled away. "I loved you from the moment I met you," she said. "That was the one real thing in my new life." He stood up and walked to the window. His back was to everyone. 30 years, he said. 30 years of marriage, and you never trusted me enough to tell me the truth. Things from their past suddenly made sense to him now. Why she never wanted to talk about her childhood. Why she had no old friends. Why she refused to get a passport for years. He felt betrayed, angry, but also sad. He could hear the pain in her voice. He could see how much this secret had tortured her. "I need time," he said finally. "I need time to process this, to figure out if I can forgive this level of deception." He walked out of the room, leaving the mother standing there surrounded by her confused and hurt. Children, share this video with someone who needs to hear this important story about family secrets. Each child processed the revelation in their own way. The oldest son felt responsible for protecting his younger siblings from this truth. He wondered if he should have noticed the signs earlier. The middle daughter felt completely lost. Her entire identity was built on knowing where she came from. Now all of that was a lie. She didn't know who she was anymore. The youngest children didn't fully understand the danger or the legal problems. They just knew their mother had lied to them their whole lives. All of them struggled with the same question. How could the woman who taught them to always tell the truth have built her entire life on a lie? Their view of their mother changed instantly. She was no longer the perfect parent. She was a stranger with a hidden past, and secrets they might never fully know. They wondered what else she might be hiding. If she could keep this secret for 30 years, what other lies had she told them? Some felt anger bubbling up inside them. Others felt a strange sympathy. Their mother had been living in fear their entire lives, and they never knew. The siblings started turning on each other, some defending the mother, others demanding she tell them everything right now. In the days that followed, the family fell apart. The oldest son refused to answer his mother's phone calls. He needed space to think about everything. The daughter moved out of her apartment and stayed with friends. She couldn't face her mother yet. Every time she looked at family photos, she felt sick. The youngest children were confused and scared. They asked their father if they were safe, if bad people were coming for them. Extended family members started finding out. Aunts and uncles called demanding explanations. Cousins posted vague messages on social media about family drama. Some neighbors noticed the tension. The family that always seemed so perfect was clearly going through something serious. The mother had to meet with lawyers. Her fake documents from years ago could still cause legal problems. She needed to make sure everything was handled properly. The father moved into the guest bedroom. He told the children he needed time to think. The marriage that had lasted 30 years was hanging by a thread. Family therapy sessions were scheduled. A professional needed to help them navigate this trauma, to rebuild the trust that had been shattered. Daily life changed completely. No more family dinners. No more phone calls just to check in. Everyone was walking on eggshells. This story shows how secrets can tear families apart. If you appreciate us sharing these real powerful stories, please consider giving super thanks of $5, $10, or $20. Your support helps us continue this important work. We truly appreciate every single member of this community. Thank you.